We now take a look at let's take you live, in fact, to the ANC's National Executive Committee meeting in Boksburg, where the ANC Secretary-General Fikile Mbalula is currently speaking.
And we identified 10 most critical municipalities that were not getting water. And we funded Northwest on the Regional Bulk Infrastructure Grant, on the Water Services Infrastructure Grant. And when we do that, we transfer money to municipalities to appoint contractors to be able to augment the infrastructure that they have. But I must say to you, since 2016 to date, there are projects that are incomplete. And they are incomplete because they are on Schedule 5, wherein it is municipalities that appoint contractors. What have we done? What we have done now is to intervene and reclaim that those funds that we funded them on Section 5, Schedule B. And we said we're taking back those funds and we're going to intervene through sending an implementing agent to complete these infrastructure systems that are supposed to be in place. It is unfortunate that as we do that, the cost has escalated. If we have budgeted 13 million for that water treatment plant, now the water treatment plant is 24 million. So the second one that is happening in Northwest that we're also following up is the water mafias. The water mafias are beyond count in the Northwest, wherein people go there, the extortionists, they demand A, B, and C, and they stop the project. So we are also working with the South African Police Services in ensuring that we deal with water mafias. The third one that we are doing in Northwest is to explore groundwater. So we want to get groundwater because with groundwater you are able to drill the borehole and people get water now. But through the leaks that Comrade SG was talking about, we are unable to fill, municipalities are unable to fill the reservoirs. This is what is happening here in Johannesburg. Their reservoirs are less than the demand in terms of water supply. So they have small reservoirs. They are unable to fill up those reservoirs because the demand is too much. But also the water leaks, we agreed in March that by end of September we're going to collect reports from all municipalities who were part of National Indaba on water to say how far did you go. There are about 7 municipalities that have already closed their leaks and they are saying now we are able to fill up our reservoirs. But what is lacking in municipalities is communication. When they do maintenance or there is pipe burst, they don't respond quickly. That is why through the Rand Water we have embarked on a major maintenance on all big water pipelines that supply Gauteng, especially the metros Ekurhuleni, Tshwane and Johannesburg up to Northwest. So nobody can complain of the bulk water supply. Where people are talking about the throttling of water, the water boards, because they are old, they cannot stop water, but they can reduce in terms of supply because they must be able to purify that water. But when municipalities are not paying, that becomes difficult. Be that as may, every Wednesday here in Gauteng, led by the Premier and the MEC for Kokta, we are meeting on water woes, and we get reports and we intervene where we are supposed to intervene. It was unfortunate, the issue of Johannesburg, which happened last week, because it is clear that communication did not go to our people. Thank you.
Is there anything you're doing around the water boards and the efficiencies that you have there, where their board members are being paying more than the president for sitting on for meetings? And the second thing is there any indication from the ANC? You have elections maybe around November, December or Jan the following year. You have about 15 months. What is your commitment on water as the ANC to South Africans?
No, we are not going to answer commitments now. We will answer that when we get to the elections campaign. At the present moment, we are fixing what is broken. We have made a commitment and a pledge to South Africans. So we are on that pledge. So whether or not we will fail on that pledge, you can ask us that question at the moment we launch our campaign. At the present moment, we have convened a working meeting to fix our problems. And PEMI is responding to that from a side of government. what efficiently they are doing. And the ANC expect water to be a top priority of government because it affects our people. So the granular details, she will respond to that. But the question of the manifesto, we were accused that we did electricity because there was an election campaign. But we proved that was not the case. Our government worked flat out, including under GNU. We're still facing with challenges. We're not out of the woods, but we have moved from load shedding to load reduction. And Sputla will be talking to that. And we will also be talking to that in terms of our action plan going forward. So the minister is hard at work. What we're doing here, going into the roll call in developing the action plan, is to say, with this work that is done, what needs to be done to, deal with the issues decisively. So, Comrade Pemi can respond.
On
I
this
just
one
wanted to clarify that.
Of water boards, I'm going to host a press conference on this matter so that we clarify once and for all. It is not true that those water boards are earning more than what the president is earning. That article was so unfortunate, and we responded into detail, but I've seen that not all of you have received that, so we're going to deal with that. What our water board have capacity. That is why we've intervened with our water boards in Kanyakude, in KZN. We have intervened in Mfuleni. We have intervened in Machabeng. We are doing the sanitation bulk. We are doing the water treatment in those municipalities that are ailing. We have spent a lot of money. That is why today in Mfuleni, in a matter of 3 weeks, we'll be launching the special purpose vehicle that is going to bring business sector and everybody else to say, let's sustain what the Department of Water and Sanitation have done. Because when we pull out of Mfuleni, we might go back to square one where you'll find sewer everywhere. But now there is a difference since we intervene on Section 63. But we cannot intervene on Section 63 in each and every municipality, because that Section 63 does not come with funding. So it's a mandate it's a mandate which is not funded. Be that as may, we are amending that on in the next 2 weeks. Parliament will be dealing with that amendment, because we want to amend so that when we intervene comprehensively and we can leave a mark. But at the moment, it's very minimal, our intervention in terms of Section 63. We intervene when there's Section 139 that has been put in place. We then come in. But we are doing everything in our power to support. Our mandate is to supply bulk water, and there is bulk water. That is why I always say, as long as you see water running down the street, that's a proof that there is bulk infrastructure supply. But that water does not go up to the reservoir. That is where the challenge is, because if it does not go to the reservoir, it won't come out of the tap. So we're trying to support municipalities now to see what is that you can do to ensure that you supply water and provide water thereof.
Thank you very much. I'm going to take one last two hands, and News 24, Samtanda, and my brother here from Kasi.
I've heard that you're going to be discussing corruption and essentially service delivery. Will this gathering at any point discuss criminality in local government? And criminality is twofold. It's criminality in the sense that infrastructure is being attacked by criminals, but also the fact that there are criminals taking over some municipalities. So will you at any point discuss that? Thank you.
We have said that the top issues on the agenda of South Africans is unemployment, crime and corruption. It's number two. Number one is unemployment, crime and corruption. These are issues that in terms of the action plan we are going to be tackling. From the side of the party, you talk corruption. I've said it yesterday when I was addressing the Youth League, and I'm repeating it now. The ANC have taken resolution in as far as the party is concerned when it comes to corruption, in as far as how corruption affects the party in terms of people who happen to be in positions of leadership or as members of the ANC. So we are implementing that. And I've said it at the Youth League, and I'm repeating it here once more, that it is something of the past that you will see an ANC leader or member accused of corruption, allegations, being supported by an ANC T-shirt in court, for whatever reasons. It is something of the past. If it happens, we'll take steps, and they will never allow it to happen. That people wear our regalia to support people whom it is alleged have committed acts of corruption. With regard to the state and government, we want the strengthening of institutions to fight crime, in particular corruption, in how it manifests itself within government. Now, elements who perpetrate corruption within government and is attributed to the party, it's people who are employed in the civil service, supply chain management, boards appointed and all of that, crooks who are all over the place within the system. And wherever they are found, the state must be capacitated in such a way that they are brought to book in terms of acts of criminality and corruption. Because in the value chain, corruption kills everything that is good, that is destined for the poorest of the poor in terms of services for our people. So we have dealt with that. We are going to be dealing with that. We will deal with that also in as far as how it affects the ANC. The president, when he spoke this morning, he said that going forward, we must be decisive. The action plan is going to reflect on that. To say that there is this municipality, so-and-so is implicated in the following things: ANC councillor or ANC representative whatsoever. As the party, we must not be lackluster when it comes to that. We must be decisive. And decisiveness is not a paper thing. Otherwise, we become paper tigers. It means the ANC must be able in its purview to take a decision to recall those people, to recall them without any waste of time. And that's what is important. That's what we're going to do. So I'm saying that when the action plan is done and consolidated and presented, and the president gives the marching orders, you are going to see these things. But we will brief the public and South Africans consistently on the interventions we are making in all our municipalities in the country. 257 municipalities in the country, and the majority of which are either in the coalition or led by the ANC. And so we're going to be decisive with regard to that. Hence the roll call. The roll call speaks to, I am a mayor, I'm here, and then here is the action plan. This is what I'm expected to do when I go back home. And then the message comes straight from the NEC to our public representatives. It's not a message that goes via. It moves from here to the public representatives, and it is expected to be implemented on the ground. Thank you.
Shannon Merrick's Broadcasting Africa. Mr. Fixit, the president gave a nice speech. He mentioned the right things: water crisis like in Westbury, sewage running in streets of Eldos, Alex, water running into the Jekskei River and so on. Infrastructure collapsing like the Walter Sisulu Square and so on. But don't you think this roll call should have taken place not just 2021, 2025, every 6 months? Maybe then we might not be in this situation in terms of service delivery and so on. Second question is, we know from townships, from people in townships, that ward councillors are involved in the water mafia, the construction mafia, the underworld and so on. How can communities report, not just ANC ward councillors, how can they report ward councillors that they know are getting even money from spaza shops and so on? That's the way we fight corruption, and I think that's it. Thank you.
There's no other way to deal with corruption. Criminals and thugs must be arrested, and give the state capacity to do that. Convict these criminals. Mao Zedong says, deal with one to educate others. As long as criminals are brazen and they can do things in the public eye, who are not even ANC, bribe journalists, have the guts to do that, and go and give money to journalists in the public view of all South Africans and nothing is done, criminality and corruption will just become a pipe dream. Arrest, show that the state is grinding. Whenever you see hawks surrounding a municipality, you must know there will be consequences out of that. Shouldn't just be a show, a movie, Hollywood. People must be arrested. Whistleblowers must be protected. We are moving now for the law for the protection of whistleblowers. Let's unite across political divide for protecting whistleblowers. Look at what happened to Tembisa. Look at the rot that is coming out of that. Let's fight corruption. Defend and protect whistleblowers. Let criminality be rooted out and all of that and be dealt with. If young people and everyone else in our society, we see the reports you journalists give us every day about corruption, but what takes the cup is the bribery issue, where we saw money being given to a journalist by people. And people just even get a special show on some news television to explain themselves about the fact that we didn't get the money. We saw the money was gotten and all of that. Why should we celebrate criminality? These people must be investigated and be taken to task for the activities that they are perpetrating in institutions that are funded by the money of the taxpayers to bring about development and in that way create jobs in our communities. So I'm saying to you, my brother, as long as criminality is brazen like that and there is no fear, we will just become another failed state, a banana republic. So what we as the ANC want, let's empower this and let's empower law enforcement agencies to be able to do their work without fear or favor. And then in that way, we will be able to push back criminality. And we need to celebrate the fact that there's a lot of work, even amidst challenges of law enforcement, that is being done. We see people being handcuffed and then conviction have been made and all of that. But we can even do better if we invest in this work in our communities. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right, that's the ANC Secretary-General Fikile Mbalula there. He is speaking on the sidelines of a special National Executive Committee meeting that has in its sights, in particular, issues to do with local government. Two things that I think I should highlight for you before we move on from that story. The one is this talk of a roll call. The ANC has been alluding to a roll call of all councillors, all ANC councillors across the country, and that is scheduled to take place on Monday, the 15th of September. So that's what that roll call reference that you kept hearing from the ANC Secretary-General is all about. It is billed as, you know, a session that is mandatory for all ANC councillors, and it will be a commitment by them to the service of South Africans, where they're going to review and be guided about how to accelerate service delivery. The second aspect that he kept alluding to is an action plan. So post that roll call, he is saying that they will want to have an action plan on how to start turning things around in local government. The crisis in local government under the spotlight, of course, at that National Executive Committee meeting. But also the other issue that he talked about were issues to do with corruption, again reiterating that this practice of ANC leaders who are accused of corruption enjoying the support of ANC members and supporters clad in ANC colors. He calls it a thing of the past and says if it happens, action will be taken. Of course, you did hear from Phumi Majodina, the Minister of Water, there also talking about some of the protests that we have seen in the last few days, as well as the various reasons therefore, but also actions being taken to address that situation. We'll continue to monitor that, and our team on the ground will be reporting extensively on that special National Executive Committee meeting.